I've read how compulsive hoarders have less difficulty discarding possessions that don't belong to them. In my experience, this difference isn't due to simply who owns the possession. It's because when I'm trying to discard something that belongs to me, I also have to deal with all my history behind that object. I acquired that object somehow. I may have spent a lot of money on it. I may have really liked the item, but due to it getting lost in my overwhelming clutter, it's now damaged due to my neglect. I may have thought I really needed the item, like couldn't live without it at the time. But now I realize it's not all that. How could I be so stupid and buy this thing? The possible self-criticism and regrets go on and on. So the discarding process isn't just about getting an item out of the house. It's about acknowledging my past self and often not liking what I'm acknowledging. And then I beat myself up over it. I think it's fair to say that beating ourselves up isn't conducive to positive change. Since I was a child, I've had a problem with perfectionism, aiming for perfection and not being happy with myself when I don't achieve it. Well, perfectionism isn't actually achievable, so basically, I'm always unhappy with myself. Perfectionism is self-abuse of the highest order. Positive change occurs with kindness. If someone else is having trouble learning something new, the thought of berating that person would never cross my mind. And yet it's usually the first thing I do to myself when I make a mistake. Why do I hold myself to a more stringent standard? So I'm really trying to learn to forgive myself, especially for the mistakes in the past that have led to my current dilemma. If I'm going to have any chance of getting out of this predicament and living a healthier, more fulfilling life, I've got to stop living in the past that these objects are tied to. What I also want to do is learn from my mistakes so that I hopefully don't repeat them in the future. Recently, I've been taking on paper clutter. I unearthed an old box of receipts. The money I blew. Designer clothes that were wants and not needs. Yards and yards of beautiful fabric when I didn't have a specific project in mind for them. Oh, codependent me buying extravagant gifts for an emotionally abusive, drug-addicted boyfriend. Oh yeah, I don't want to live in the past. I want to reconcile my past with my present, and I want to ask myself what I can learn from the past to better live in the present. Otherwise, in the future, the present I'm living now will become the past that I regret.